Good morning, traders. I am Emily Bonney, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Monday, June 17th. Monday moves follow a mixed but muted day on Wall Street Friday. The Nasdaq was the day's only winner, adding 21 points or 0.12%. The Dow gave up 57 points or 0.15%. The S&P 500 lost just 2 points or 0.04%. Bill, let's get into a new week with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Hi, yes. Good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. The S&Ps are, flat to lower, down 0.04%. I mean, rather directionless, but there is a feeling to the downside today. I mean, we get with this week, there's a lot going on. I mean, we have a holiday in the middle of the week, but that economic data that came out from China last night, that was kind of mixed. And European stocks jumped high at the opening. They really showed like a 1% gain, and those gains are really faded. We got a host of central bank meetings this week. That's something to keep an eye on. Tomorrow we get that retail sales report. That's going to be the key economic report for the week. We got some, a couple of earnings this week. Lazy Boy Lennar, after this afternoon. I see shares of Autodesk are higher, as Starboard is said to have taken a position. That's kind of interesting. But we got to keep an eye on what's going on overseas, and we're keeping an eye on Europe. And the DAX is, trading higher by 42 points or 0.23%. The FTSE just turned. It's now positive. It's flat to positive. It's up by 1.44 points, or that's 0.02%. So not significant, but it is higher. And then you get the CAC, which is up 28 points or 0.38%. It was up 1% earlier. Germany, Germany and France and the UK countries that, they got to worry about these central bank meetings. It's coming out from Australia, Brazil, China, Norway, Switzerland, the United Kingdom. Actually, China's came out. London, that Bank of America, Bank of England's policy meeting is this week. But the political instability in France remains a key factor in the French economy, and that's really causing, that continues to cause some instability in its markets. So, you got to be a little nervous there on French markets. Last night in Asia, it was weak. It was definitely weak. You saw the Nikkei drop 712 points. That's 1.83%. The big thing here is, the Bank of Japan, it looks like they're going to be proceeding quickly on their quantitative tightening plan. And, markets are a little concerned about that. Hong Kong was flat, down 5 points or 0.03%. Shanghai was down 16 points or 0.55%. Now, in China, they released a slew of economic data. Industrial production grew 5.6% year on year in May. That missed the forecast of 6%. Retail sales were better. I mean, retail sales, we see that they rose 3.7% in May. That's, accelerating from the 2.3% growth we saw in April. And the PBOC left its midterm lending facility rate unchanged at 2.5%, which was kind of expected, but still, all in all, we saw a sea of red last night in Asian markets, and then we're turning our eyes over to oil because oil is now ticking higher. That's good, but it was flat, but essentially the China data. But there is a report that China stockpiles rose for the first 5 months of the year as the country decreased its oil imports. That's a little concerning, but oil has been kind of weak. We could see that bouncing higher. So we're keeping an eye on oil, but that's what I have for you in terms of a morning market update, Emily.
And Bill, one of the words you used in your opening was sort of directionless. And even on a day where we're looking for direction, you're able to find that using your newsware because you're following a lot of details on the day, not just the things we just heard, but also things like earnings action, economic events, and the day's other market moving headlines. And we're going to get through all of that on this morning's show. We're going to start with earnings action, Bill. What is going on there?
Well, nothing came out Friday afternoon and or this morning that I see that's of interest. But this afternoon we have Lazy Boy, ticker LZB, Larry Zebra Boy, releasing their EPS is 68 cents and expected move is 10.68%. Then you have the home builder Lennar, ticker LEN, Larry Edward Dancy, their EPS is $3.20. Expected move here is 6.29% when they release. But that's what I have for you in terms of earnings action, Emily.
Bill, you're also keeping track of economic events. These can be key drivers as we've learned for the markets. Even though we're starting out slow, give us a look at what we should be watching when it comes to today's economic events.
Well, today at 8:30 a.m. we get the Empire State Manufacturing Index. That's going to be the main economic report coming out today. But in the week ahead, we got retail sales, manufacturing and services PMI, industrial production, along with a host of housing reports due out. And that's in addition to a number of Fed speakers that are scheduled today. I see that we have. Patrick Harker of the Philadelphia Fed speaking at 1 o'clock, and John Williams of the New York Fed, he's going to be speaking at noon. But that's really all I have for in terms of an economic update, Emily.
And watching those, using your Newsware, as I mentioned, you have an economic alert set up for those reports for Fed Speak. You have alerts set up for your earnings report, but you also set up alerts for other types of data and information. Things like merger news, shareholders meetings. You're looking at headlines grouped together from your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks. So, Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
Well, I'm looking at my Dow stocks. I'm showing like 20 down, 7 up, and the rest unchanged. So we're looking kind of negative on that aspect. You look at the FANG stocks, and you're really seeing losses for the most part. And Netflix is trading slightly higher as well as Apple, but everything else is lower. Okay, let's take a look at some of the news that's in the tape, like Apple. I see that Citibank removed its Catalyst Watch call that they have on Apple, and now as the WWDC conference is concluded. That makes a lot of sense to me. Apple shares are trading higher, but they are kind of frothy. So we'll have to wait and see what the next move is for Apple these days. We're talking Google and Instacart. Instacart is extending its retail metadata to YouTube. Now, this is going to be an attempt to get purchasers to watch videos and push data out there and really correlate shopping with respect to watching videos. So, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Netflix, hey, their product placement, that they're doing where they're charging for product placements in their movies, those fees are actually very helpful to them. It allows them to charge less for the ads, and that's said to be hurting Amazon's movie business. Tesla, I see that the SEC is investigating Elon Musk's late disclosure of his purchases of Twitter stock. Could be something there. We're talking Dow Jones 30s, Boeing CEO, David Calhoun. He's going to be appearing before the Senate on Wednesday. The market's closed on Wednesday, but keep an eye on that. Walt Disney, ticker DIS, David India Sam, they came out with that movie from Pixar. It was a Pixar movie called Inside Out. It came in for 155 million for this past weekend. That's the biggest one this year. That's the biggest movie opening this year. So good for Disney. Apple, ARway, this is .ai. They're integrating with Apple's new AI for their Vision Pro AR navigation solutions. I don't know if that's anything really that significant. In terms of merger news, Aaron's companies, ticker AAN, Apple Nancy, they're going to be acquired by IQ Ventures for about 504 million, which is about $10.10 a share. Then we got shareholders meetings. We got to throw about that GameStop meeting that's going to continue today. Remember, it started Thursday, but there were a bunch of technical issues. Something was going on, and they had to close the meeting. They're going to reconvene today. That's ticker GME, Grace Mary Edward. But that's what I have for you about news hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that Newsware delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. It is now that time of the show for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, what do you have for us to start this week?
Lennar, the home builder, ticker LEN, Larry Edward Dancy, earnings are tomorrow afternoon. EPS is $3.20 and expected move is 6.29%. Friday's call volume 13,229 versus puts of 8,195. That's nice. Then you're looking at the open interest. 59,661 to 56,503. Okay, it's positive. Look at the major brokers. They're raising price targets. It's nice to see price targets are increasing. But for this trade to work out, I got to get in under 155. And if there's some selling pressure, it could fall to 152. But I definitely got to get in under 155 for this trade to work out. But that's my pick of the day. Lennar, ticker LEN, Larry, Edward, Nancy, Emily.
Lennar, it is today. We will follow that along with you. And coming up, we're going to do a recap on Friday's pick of the day, so stick with us. But ahead of that, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our Hot Off the Press segment. Bill, take it away.
Let's see. LH LabCorp launches global trial Connect to accelerate clinical trials. QGen, Quentin Grace, Edward Dancy sets a goal of at least $2 billion combined annual sales in 2028. See, Shake Shack announced a new chief operating officer. That's okay. VSTO, Victor Sam Tom Oscar, Vista Outdoors urges shareholders to vote in favor of the CSG transaction. Yeah, it's Starboard value. That's a $500 million stake that they took in Autodesk, ADSK. Amazon must pay $122 million for violating other company rights in targeted internet advertising technology. Texas federal jury said on Friday. Cisco Systems CSCO, they're going to be setting up a cybersecurity center in Taiwan. Johnson Johnson is seeking FDA approval for a non-small cell lung drug that they have out there. Nike is interesting to me because I think it was Adidas, maybe it was Puma, they just got hit with caught doing bribes to Chinese officials. That's all I'm seeing this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we dive into trading, in this new week, let's do that check-in on Friday's pick of the day, which was ExxonMobil. Now, given the sort of generally negative sentiment that was out there on Friday, you were looking towards energy, or you had mentioned healthcare as a possibility for a pick. You were looking to get in at Exxon at a discount and hoping it would move from there. How did your call work out?
Listen, the stock opened up at 110.02, but then it fell down to 108.50, which was much more than the weakness in oil. And oil, I think we actually finished a little higher on the day. But it rallied back to the 109 level. It closed at the 109.11. I didn't make money on it. I was expecting a pop this morning. I thought the Chinese numbers would be better than they are. I still think oil, could go higher. It just didn't. It didn't facilitate. It didn't really fit my model because it's not an earnings trade, but it was best of breed, so I had to go with something. And ExxonMobil was a miss on Friday, Emily.
Bill, but as you always say, we live to trade another day, and we will check in with you tomorrow about today's Lennar pick of the day. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Advani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.